We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number.
So not only has Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock with a net worth of over $1.2 billion, CEO of the largest asset management company in the world that has over $10 trillion in assets under management, not only is he saying that the future of finance is tokenization of real-world assets on the blockchain, but Donald Trump just signed an executive order that I covered in my video yesterday, completely overhauling the US Treasury payment system as everything shifts over to the quantum financial system through the XRP ledger. A lot of people are saying XRP and a few other altcoins are going to pave the path not only this year, but for the next few decades to come. And in this video, if you hold Ripple's XRP, Crypto.com's Kronos token, and Chainlink, I have some massive news to share with you guys today. Plus, we're going to dive into the entire altcoin market and where we are in this market cycle, how much time we have left before this bull market cycle's peak is in, and exactly what needs to take place for the next breakout in the market. That way, you can finally see your portfolio go into the positive after 4 months of getting absolutely destroyed. So if you're still here in the crypto market, I want to congratulate you for staying plugged in when the vast majority of retail investors have left the market, because they only come here when we're at all-time highs to buy your bags to make you wealthy. When you're the one that's in the trenches every single day, comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. So not only has Donald Trump been signing tons of executive orders to basically expose the fraud, the corruption within the government, but to basically overhaul and completely transform the financial system. And as you guys know, a true representation of a person is their children. And when asked about crypto, the first words out of Donald Trump Jr.'s mouth are utility treasuries and the petrodollar. Crypto has never been about green candles and cartoon monkeys. It's about the US dollar as a world reserve currency and replacing the petrodollar. So the big picture stuff is going to take us to the next phase of the bull run cycle. Listen to this.
Yeah, listen, I think general utility. I mean, I think everyone sort of just touched on it right now. When you talk about holding, treasuries, you see sort of the attack on what was always sort of the petrodollar over the last few months. This is really the stability that America needs. But as the Zacks, to perhaps use the office space, an analogy, as the Zacks and Chase would say, the amount of times in the last 2 years that we've been talking and I'm trying to figure out, how to make something that should otherwise be simple, but perhaps isn't if you haven't been in the space for 10 years. It's sort of a name. So creating that utility, that ease of use that, perhaps a average, almost boomer like myself can figure out. I mean, that's my goal. I mean, I think obviously you can play big, on the real estate and the hard asset side and change up the banking system, but the utility, making it easy for everyone else to understand. It's not mystical. It's not sort of the meme coin space that my son plays in all the time. And, frankly, is probably one of the greatest tools I can think of today to teach young people entrepreneurship, to get them to understand how these systems work. It's so much faster. There's so much more excitement. Once they're vested and staked in that a little bit, they're actually paying attention. And I'm looking at these kids that are my son's age. They're 15, 16, 17 years old. They could run circles talking about liquidity with my buddies that graduated from Wharton with me who've worked at Goldman for 25 years. It's truly spectacular. But I think number one would be utility. If we can figure out how to make it easy to use, this is a no-brainer. And I think we're there. We're on that cusp. We just have to demystify some of that. We have to make it so that people don't just assume that you're gambling when you do this. These are real assets backed by U.S. treasuries. It's just as safe as a bank account, but without all of that extra nonsense, without that inefficiency, without the tens of thousands of people throughout the system who are making seven figures that honestly, I like them. I want them to be successful. They're friends of mine for years, but I'm not exactly sure what they do anymore. If you can, but that's true. That's 100%. We laugh, but there's probably trillions of just waste in keeping these old systems alive. And to Chase's point, the banks and the banking system has managed to stick together because I think they all realize that if they don't, people will find another way. So they have this monopoly that's been very inefficient, but has controlled a lot of the power and has discriminated, based on narrative talking points, however many boxes you check from a socioeconomic standpoint, who gets the benefit or not. So if you can create that utility, you can create that fairness. The sky is the limit for this. And so, I think we're there. And it's also why we're not just trying to reinvent some sort of new widget and do it better than everyone else, but frankly, bring everyone together, consolidate these great ideas, these great platforms, this incredible technology. If we can do that, and perhaps, some of the value we add, is make it okay for the retail consumer who isn't as versed as everyone in the room, who there is some mystique to it. If we can simplify that down, give them the utility that they're looking for, that to me is the keystone for making this happen. And I think we're there.
So not only are we there, but there are specific cryptocurrencies and specific protocols that are focusing on this utility, that are not fly-by-night projects, that have been around for multiple bull runs, and Chainlink is definitely one of them. Chainlink just confirmed they're working on a bill with lawmakers called the Proof of Bill, requiring stablecoins and real-world assets to have a proof of reserve.
The proof of bill that we're working on with a number of other legislators and their staff and other groups here in DC is really focused on proving that the real-world assets that are backing a coin, whether it's a stable coin, whether it's a tokenized fund, whatever the coin is about, that those assets actually exist. And that proof about them existing doesn't happen on an annual audit basis, doesn't happen on a monthly report basis in the form of a PDF that, is very unclear. It's not very clear how anything was verified. But it happens on a second-by-second basis. So it happens in near real time. And beyond happening in near real time, you can drill down into the details of the underlying asset. So you wouldn't just know that it's treasuries. You would know that it's treasuries. You would know that it's 2-year or 5-year or 10-year treasuries. You would know the yield on the treasury tranches. You might even know the custodian with which those treasuries are held. So the proof of bill and our work on proof of across different asset types will really allow for the most reliable assets to come out of the U.S. financial system. And just like the U.S. legislated into existence risk agencies, we think it should legislate into existence this proof of bill to make sure that the financial products generated in the U.S. system are fundamentally better and fundamentally more reliable because they require this high level of proof of information. And this goes very well and in line with the current model of what makes the U.S. financial system reliable, which is highly reliable assets with a certain level of regulation and information requirements. This is basically just continuing that, but doing that in an on-chain way that massively benefits the consumer, the market, and eliminates systemic financial risk. So this is what we hope the work we're doing now on the proof of bill will help us achieve.
So you guys remember in my previous video where Donald Trump said that they're going to go to Fort Knox and they're going to see if the gold is there. And so everyone wants to see proof of reserves. They want to see proof that the government, the treasury, if they're going to say they're spending money on something, they want to see proof of it, right? So that's why the Department of Government Efficiency was created. They've uncovered $245 billion of inefficiencies, fraud, mismanagement, misallocation, and just overall corruption of government spending. Because when we look at the U.S. federal spending official, $7 trillion, I mean, what is that going towards? So with the current administration focusing on exposing that corruption, and you have protocols and projects and companies like Chainlink, Ripple, and now what I'm going to cover for crypto.com, it's extremely bullish for the long term for these projects. So we're going to get into the charts of Chainlink compared to Bitcoin and where we are in this market cycle. But first, if you guys haven't joined Altcoin Pro University yet, this is the best possible place to stay in the know because our research team scours the markets 24/7 for you and provides real-time updates and analysis on these different chains. And not only giving you key altcoin picks, but different airdrop farming for you to be able to basically get free money from some of these protocols. And we have countless members in our community winning from these airdrop picks, from these DeFi yield picks, and from these altcoin picks, along with the market updates and different announcements, which is why we have over 1,000 members from all across the globe. You can see right here on the map, I mean, we got people everywhere. And so as Altcoin Pro University expands globally, all you need to do is just click the link below to join. Watch this 26-minute video because our vision is to set the gold standard in crypto education. We're also going to allow a few of you guys to join our affiliate program as a beta tester to be able to earn a part-time or a full-time passive income. So if that interests you, then click the link below, check it out. I know you're going to love it. But let's take a look at the Chainlink to the US dollar price chart compared to Bitcoin to see where we are in this macro market cycle. Because if we look back at the last bull market cycle, when the markets bottomed out in December of 2018 for Bitcoin, that's right when Chainlink was at roughly 18 cents. And since then, from the lowest point for Chainlink, it did nearly a 40,000%. That's a 40x from those lows all the way back here in 2017, 2018 to the market cycle high in 2021. Now, when Chainlink peaked out at roughly $50, that was during this first peak right here for Bitcoin, upwards of $64,000 before Bitcoin pulled back drastically to 30,000 and then saw this double top by November of 2021. Chainlink was putting in a lower high when Bitcoin was making its all-time high. And then we went into a bear market. But during that entire bull run from the bear market low in December of 2018, Chainlink just consistently put in higher lows that entire bull run and higher highs all the way to May of 2021. It wasn't until Bitcoin pulled back to $30,000 that Chainlink's bull run was done. You know, we broke this ascending support. We came back up to retest it as resistance all the way right here. On the 1st of November for Bitcoin's high, Chainlink couldn't break the all-time high and it stopped out at about $40. Then the bear market kicked in. Now, when Bitcoin bottomed out, Chainlink was around $6 and Chainlink bled out a little bit more to about $5 by June of 2023. Now, during Bitcoin's entire run up with the ETF news, BlackRock diving in, Fidelity, Van Eck, we have major governments, massive banks, even countries like El Salvador scooping up Bitcoin, Chainlink has actually been underperforming. And with Chainlink sitting at $15, it's still off from the all-time high of about 250%. So that's a 2.5x from right here. Whereas when Bitcoin was breaking out from the previous high last bull run right here in December of 2020, Chainlink was all the way up here at like $15, virtually at its all-time high during that run-up for Bitcoin. Whereas this time around, during this run-up for Bitcoin, past the all-time high, Chainlink could barely muster up a rally from $10 upwards of $30, leading a lot of people to wonder, will Chainlink even have a real bull run this cycle and past the previous high of 2021? So hang tight towards the end of this video and I'll explain exactly what needs to happen in order for Chainlink to do that. But just based on the chart right now, Chainlink is following Bitcoin on this current pullback right here. And if we do see a breakout for Bitcoin to the upside, then I would expect Chainlink to see a bounce. Now, how high that will push Chainlink if Bitcoin starts to break out past the previous high will be determined on what I share with you towards the end of this video, so keep watching. But currently, since June of 2023, Chainlink is just simply putting in higher lows in this bullish channel right now. In December of 2024 was just a higher high than March of 2024. Along with Bitcoin putting in higher highs and higher lows, Bitcoin is actually still in a bullish channel right now. So I don't think there's anything too out of the ordinary here, unless we see, Bitcoin break this ascending support. Similar to what happened back here in November of 2021 after Bitcoin had topped out and then it dropped back down to like $32,000 for this complacency stage bounce at the bottom of the screen right here. If Bitcoin does something like that and we see a breakdown and Bitcoin consolidating below this ascending support right here for an extended period of time this summer, and Chainlink just slowly bleeds out below this ascending support, then that would be an area of concern. But we're not there right now. We're simply bouncing off of this ascending support for Chainlink, and same with Bitcoin as well too. And I'm going to discuss what's happening with the Federal Reserve in a little bit, but first, check this out. The Kronos chain is making a comeback right now because Donald Trump posted on Truth Social talking about ETFs featuring CRO, and that's why we saw the recent breakout to 10 cents currently on the price chart. And even from where we're at right now, the all-time high for Kronos was in November 2021 after Bitcoin peaked out, and we're 800%, like 850%. That's an 8.5x away from the all-time high for CRO token. And if we look at the stochastic RSI right now, the K line is at 14, the D line is at 5. We just experienced a bullish cross. It hasn't confirmed unless both these lines cross above 20. But if we look back at the last bull run cycle, when Kronos was in this channel just forming higher lows right here and higher highs, it was roughly around the 21st of June of 2021 after CRO pulled back from 26 cents all the way down here to 8 cents. That was roughly a 65% pullback in price. Everyone was freaking out at this point, but we just bounced off this ascending support after Bitcoin saw its low of like $29,000. Then Bitcoin went for this double top right here to nearly $70,000. That's when CRR broke out from 8 cents all the way upwards of 93 cents. It rallied over 800% in like 160, 170 days. And so I think that that's what's coming next. Now, I don't know how high that's going to push CRO, but all signs are telling me that a major breakout is happening, because look at the stochastic RSI during that period after that pullback. The K line and the D line were below 20. We experienced a bullish cross. It took some time to get out of there from June of 2021 until November of 2021 for about 120 days, which is about 4 months. CRO only rallied about 100%. That's like only turning $1,000 to $2,000. And then in a matter of like, what, a month? From the 1st of November, in like 28 days, CRO rallied over 300%. So the majority of gains in the crypto market, specifically altcoins, happen within like less than 30 days. And you have to go through these long, boring consolidation or sell-off periods. And that's what's been happening recently. Since December of 2024, I mean, CRO did exactly what happened back in 2021, but it's dropped 70%. So the stochastic RSI formed a bearish cross back here on the 2nd of December. The stochastic RSI is reset on the weekly chart. So this is a macro market view. And we just formed a bullish cross and we're below 20. So we're in oversold conditions still. We're just simply putting in higher lows from the bear market low. And you can even look right here at the top of the screen. It's been higher highs this entire time. And in my opinion, where we are for CRO's price chart compared to Bitcoin is where we were right here after Bitcoin pulled back to like $29,000 and CRO pulled back all the way right here in the cycle to like 8 cents before rallying all the way up here. So I think it could take some time, just like it took a few months for CRO to do 100%. I think CRO is just going to continuously trend higher. And then the last stage of the bull run cycle, based on what I'm going to share with you in a few minutes here, is when we see the major move for CRO, is when we see the major move for Bitcoin to the final peak of the market before the bear market kicks in. And then we just go through a crazy market crash for virtually everything. So we'll see if Crypto.com pulls it off, but they're planning on investing billions of dollars to make CRO a top 5 chain.
So you guys have to understand that Crypto.com reinvested billions of dollars to build a globally recognizable, trusted brand. And likewise, Kronos will have to invest billions to build a top 5 chain. So I think that on balance, this path has the highest likelihood of success that benefits all token holders.
And with Donald Trump Jr. saying to demystify crypto and make it easy for people to invest, well, Crypto.com is one of the largest exchanges in the United States. Coinbase doesn't have their own token. Crypto.com is number 39 on the list on CoinMarketCap with a market cap of $2.6 billion. And so if we see the markets recover and more retail comes back to the market, well, what exchange are they going to use? They're most likely going to use Coinbase. They're most likely going to use Crypto.com if they're in the United States. And at the peak of the last bull run, the market cap of CRO was at $22 billion. So in my opinion, if we are to see a massive recovery in the crypto market, I mean, this project's a no-brainer. Now, not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you to sell it. I'm just telling you what I see, and what you choose to do is up to you. I think it's going to take some time to play out because we need to see Bitcoin recover. But on the weekly, the stochastic RSI is in oversold conditions. We've been holding this zone of support since the 23rd of December for about 462 days. So CRO has been respecting the support. We do have resistance up here at roughly 18 cents and the most recent local high at 23 cents. But other than that, the next major resistance for CRO is all the way up within this range right here between like 37-ish cents to about 50 cents, and then pretty much the all-time high. So if we see what we saw back here from May of 2021 until like April of 2022, this range could play out something like this. Now, will CRO break the high from 2021? We'll see, but I don't think we need to get major gains out of this project. Even if we just get back to the all-time high, that's 800%. Going to, 40-ish cents, that's 300%. You're not going to get that in the stock market. And for a tier 1 exchange token, if retail start flooding back into Crypto.com, a lot of people are going to buy the CRO token. So definitely keep it on your radar. Now, to rewind a little bit, this tab should have actually been a little bit earlier in the video, but with Ripple and Chainlink. So you guys know that Ripple adopted the Chainlink standard to further RLUSD's utility and access in DeFi. And RLUSD is Ripple's enterprise-grade stablecoin. And now they're leveraging Chainlink's price feeds, providing a secure, reliable source of pricing data on the Ethereum mainnet, basically allowing developers to integrate support for RLUSD into their DeFi applications for use cases like trading, lending, and more. So with the Chainlink standard, Ripple is able to provide their stablecoin ecosystem access to high-quality off-chain data through Chainlink's battle-tested infrastructure, which has enabled over $18 trillion in transaction value and is trusted by the world's largest financial institutions. So Chainlink and XRP are here to stay, and right here, Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild has been posting all over Twitter. He said, "You will all be forced to use XRP direct or indirect. Now, for those of you that don't know, if you just go to Grok, ask who is Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild. He's the fourth Baron Rothschild from the Rothschild banking family, born in 1936. He was the eldest son of Victor Rothschild, third Baron. So Grok says regarding the Twitter handle NCJ Rothschild, the one that I just showed you, it's unclear if this account is directly associated with Charles Jacob Rothschild or another individual is using the name. I just find this pretty interesting because if we just go to the profile here, he's been retweeting all the major news that's been happening with Ripple, such as the SEC dropping the Ripple lawsuit, Trump signing the recent executive order. He's even saying silver will easily reach $150 and to screenshot this tweet yesterday. And Ivanka Trump posted this saying, what does the world need most right now? Use one word. He's saying XRP. Even posting pictures like this of Trump draining the swamp from the deep state, which is happening right now. So with him retweeting stuff from like Ivanka Trump saying by June, you'll be living in a completely different environment. Upgrades are coming. Obviously, she knows something the average person doesn't because she's around Donald Trump. But we have confirmation from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, saying digitization has resulted in the appearance of a new financial service product and of new digital assets designed to be used as a means of payment or act as a store of value. So the deeper you push the ball underwater, the higher it bounces. And Bitcoin maxis have been extremely mad that Trump announced, XRP, Solana, Ethereum as a part of the strategic crypto reserve because they just want Bitcoin to be a part of it. But anyone with common sense that can use some level of rational judgment here can understand that utility is what reigns supreme long term. Whereas Bitcoin is just digital gold to store value, Bitcoin is slow, it's costly to mine, costs a lot of energy, and it's not going to be used for global payments, whereas XRP, it's fast, it's cheap, and virtually all the banks agree. If you subscribe to the channel, we have 350,000 subscribers because every single day we've been covering these central bank documents with you guys about what's about to happen for XRP. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And the real question is, how much XRP do you hold? Because here's a percentage of accounts with balances starting at 619,000 XRP. Actually, sorry, 2,505 XRP. There's 619 accounts. That's about 10% of account balances equal to or greater than 5% hold 9,000 XRP, 4% 11,000, then it goes all the way up to 0.01% hold over 5.7 million XRP, and there's only 620 accounts, whereas 0.1% hold up to 400,000 XRP. So where do you guys fall on the list? Comment it below. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. When people ask us how much XRP or how much crypto should they hold, obviously, you should never invest more than you can afford to lose and more than you're comfortable with. But that said, if you're in it for the long term, aiming to become a part of the top 10% is a solid goal to hold at least 2,500 XRP. And you can never hold enough. Just keep stacking because it depends on what type of lifestyle you want to live and what your goals are. You can never hold enough because if your goal is to create generational wealth this bull run cycle, then you just need to keep stacking. And we actually have a great way for you guys to be able to get more money if you have a business through this government program that expires April 15th. Listen to this. April 15th, 2025. This is a huge date because it's the deadline for 2 high-paying tax credits that you probably haven't heard about, but you can still get if you take action right now. We've partnered with the relief consultants who are experts in the tax code who've recovered over $100 million for their clients so far. So if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, listen up so we can get you help and reach our goal of recovering $10 million for the Bull Runners community before the April 15th deadline. So here's how it works. If you're a business owner who had employees in 2021, then you qualify for an average $150,000 check from the Treasury and possibly more with the Employee Retention Credit Program. So if you were told in the past that you don't qualify, get a second opinion now through the link in the description below this video because there are rules and regulations that have changed just recently. So there's a high likelihood that you do qualify now. And if you sold your business or you shut it down, you still qualify as long as you were active in 2021. So don't miss out. Schedule an appointment with the link below. Just click business owner with employees if it applies to you. There's also a second tax credit that also ends April 15th. So this is for the bull runners who are self-employed in 2021. So if you were a 1099, not W-2, and self-employment was your primary income, the Treasury check for this tax credit can go up to $32,220 with an average of $17,000. So if you were self-employed in 2021 and want to see if you haven't claimed this credit, which nobody has from our community thus far for some strange reason. We've been talking about this in several videos. I don't know, man, maybe you just want the treasury to keep your money, but if you want to get money back in your pocket, then schedule a consultation. Don't be lazy. Do this right now before April 15th through the link below. Just click self-employed if you think you qualify for both credits. Let the rep know on the call. And by the way, if you have your tax returns from 2020 and 2021 for this credit, it will be a faster turnaround for you. So have them ready on your call, and they can literally tell you if you qualify on your first call to get you paid. So if you need more money back in your pocket for this bull run, take action right now, click the link, and let's get you paid. Now, if we look at the XRP to the US dollar price chart compared to Bitcoin, well, XRP is just simply consolidating on top of the previous high of 2021. And same thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is above the previous high of November of 2021. And with all the bullish news that is taking place right now for Ripple and Donald Trump's executive orders and all of that, the only way, in my opinion, that XRP doesn't break out to another all-time high is if Bitcoin just rolls over and goes into a bear market right now. So in terms of safety in the crypto market and the safest plays, although nothing's guaranteed and nothing's really safe in crypto, if XRP does not do well, then virtually all of your altcoins are not going to do well. And as you can see here in November of 2024, when Bitcoin was breaking the previous all-time high, that's when XRP broke out as well too, after 2 years of price suppression and just going sideways around the 50-cent region. XRP is currently at $2.37 right now. So my price prediction for XRP this bull run cycle is anywhere from $5 to maximum $30 this cycle. And that's if Bitcoin starts getting upwards of, 150 to 190. Now, if you guys want to connect with other XRP holders, I'll leave a link in the description below to the world's largest Ripple XRP group that I manage right now. And I'm always posting news in here for you guys to stay up to date with. We got about 170,000 people in this group right now. So click the link below, plug in, and you can connect with other members in the community specifically that hold XRP. And if you guys want more information about other altcoins, DeFi, and all that stuff, join Altcoin Pro University as well too. But check this out. I thought this was a great post from Crypto Nagato here saying money flows where attention goes. Where was all the attention in 2024? Well, it's been on Bitcoin. Nobody cared about altcoins. That's why they never truly took off. That's why Chainlink is below its previous 2021 high. That's why CRO is off its high about 850% and 8.5x. And a lot of people are saying, but bro, there's multiple alt seasons. We had a meme coin altcoin bull run. We had AI coins run. We had real world asset coins, dino coins, utility coins. But those niche pumps had nothing to do with an actual alt season. It was just a brutal player versus player game. Money rotating from the broader altcoin market into whatever niche was trending at the moment. So an example, people dumped utility coins to ape into meme coins. Utility coins bled while memes went parabolic. Then once the hype faded for meme coins, they dumped memes and rotated back to utility coins and ISO standard projects. That's why we saw XRP, Algorand, XDC, HBAR, XLM pump. So the overall capital never changed. It just shuffled around. And if you don't believe me, study the markets, look at the charts. For example, Solana went on a crazy bull run. In fact, our research team called Solana around $8 or $9 at the actual bottom and said it's going to be one of the easiest trades. So if you guys plug in with Altcoin Pro University below, you'll see what our research team spots in real time for these altcoins, aside from just XRP, that you can capitalize on to make a lot of money. But Ethereum slept the entire time and did nothing because Pump Fund launched and most people needed Solana to gamble on meme coins. But let's be real, a lot of people sold Ethereum to chase the Solana hype train and all those meme coins that were launching every few minutes. Pretty much no new capital flowed into Solana. It was just recycled liquidity from Ethereum and other chains. And the only asset that saw real fresh capital this cycle, and a lot of it, was Bitcoin. And after spending the last few years deep diving into cycles, macro related stuff, and after everything that's happened recently, not only has he refined his thesis, but we're refining our thesis as well too in every single video that I make. He thinks we're just earlier in this cycle than he originally thought, meaning the end game remains the same. A crypto market cycle ending without alt season and euphoria is pure madness. Only the timeline has shifted, and right now, what he sees is something like this. Second half of March to potentially end of April, early May, a solid run up. Potentially a macro top. Well, it's too soon to say. Many pieces of the puzzle are still missing that I'll cover in the next few seconds, so keep watching. If no macro top in that window, a possible delay until the end of the year after a boring summer, and a cycle top aligning with the classic 4-year cycle when everyone is saying this time is different, we're going into a super cycle. So despite most people thinking otherwise and that the bull run is over, he still believes alt season is coming in full force. It's not if, it's when. And if we just look at total 2 right now, which is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, and pair it up with the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator here, and also the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average, we can see right now that the 50 moving average in blue is still above the 200 moving average. And we haven't seen this breadth in this expansion in between the two. They're still pretty close together, whereas the price is staying above the 200, but it's below the 50. As you guys can see, the price, when we transitioned from orange to yellow, exploded all the way up here to $1.5 trillion in market cap, well above the 50 moving average, and the 50 was above the 200. So when we saw this golden cross right here, and a golden cross is when the 50 crosses above the 200. So this blue line right here crossing above, and I'll just circle it on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. This blue moving average right here crossing above the 200 moving average was a golden cross. The price broke out from that point and absolutely exploded. So we saw a golden cross take place right here on the 1st of April, very similar to the cross happening while we were consolidating during this orange phase right here. The cross happened while we were consolidating during this orange phase right here, this market cycle. It was just a longer consolidation period. And transitioning from orange to yellow, the breakout was not nearly as massive as the move from 190 billion to 1.5 trillion. The move was just from like 800 billion to 1.6 trillion to barely just tap the previous high of 2021. So currently, we're about 175 days in to this yellow phase of Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator. And if we look back to how long it took to go from yellow to light green, it was about 189 days. And so where would that put us if it took 189 days to transition from yellow to green? Well, the 7th of April, that's in the next 10 days. And as you guys know, every single bull market peak has happened at light green on the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator. Either in the 1st of January of 2018, that's when the market's made its final move to the peak. And in 2021, that's when the market's made its final move to the peak. So I think a move is coming for the crypto market and for altcoins. The real question is just how high that is, because there is an area of concern that I'm looking at right now on the relative strength index on the weekly chart, and that is a bearish divergence. For example, when we peaked out right here in May of 2021, well, the RSI had already peaked out upwards of 96 in February of 2021 during this yellow phase at about $670 billion. So we were forming a higher high right here from February 2021 until the 10th of May, whereas the relative strength index on the bottom of the screen was forming a lower high to 85. Then that pullback took place from 1.4 trillion down here to 600 billion for Bitcoin and the entire altcoin market, transitioning from yellow to green. And the RSI dropped from 83 all the way down to about 50. Then we saw the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator turn to light green. Then we saw the final peak in the market, which formed a higher high. And look at what happened with the relative strength index. It could barely muster up enough momentum to get to 71 for a lower high. This was a massive bearish divergence. So we had 2 lower highs on the relative strength index in the final higher high. So what a bearish divergence mean is that momentum is shifting from bullish to bearish. And we don't know exactly when it ends because we could see like 2 or 3 lower highs before the market finally tops out. A bearish divergence can continue for an extended period of time. All that it means is when you see the first sign of a bearish divergence, which is a higher high in the price chart and a lower high on a key indicator, especially on the macro, that's the first warning sign. But you don't want to sell on a major pullback. You want to sell on the relief rally to a lower high. So for example, looking at the price chart right now, well, on the 4th of March, the market was at $1.24 trillion transitioning from purple to orange. We went through this like 200-day consolidation period and we pulled back. Look at what happened to the relative strength index. It went from 86 and it pulled all the way back here to about 43. Then we saw a relief rally in the market up to $1.7 trillion, pretty much to the previous all-time high, and the relative strength index rallied up to 75, which was a lower high than the high of the 4th of March. Whereas on the price chart, it was a higher high. So that's the first sign of a macro bearish divergence. Now what happened with the recent pullback from December 2024? Well, the price chart came all the way back down to the 200 moving average. It broke the 50, which we didn't see last bull run cycle. So there are some differences here. However, the relative strength index pulled back from 75 all the way here to 41. So just based on this chart alone, in my opinion, what happens here is this. I think we're going to see a relief rally happen in the market. I think the RSI is going to come up. Now, the real question is, how high will that rally be? It's not a question of if it happens, it's how high it is, and if we get rejected from this descending resistance on the relative strength index on the next major move for the market, and if we're either putting in a higher high for total 2 for all altcoins, or if the pump in the rally is not as big as everyone expects before we roll over and go into a bear market. That's the real question. And what would happen in order for this relief rally to take place to this descending resistance right here on the bottom of the screen on the relative strength index would be an expansion in M2 global liquidity. Because if we look at others, which is everything outside of the top 10, the price chart at the top, the middle of the screen, we see M2 global liquidity index. And then at the bottom of the screen, we see the Fed funds rate. There's 3 key things that I'm watching for an expansion in the market. And that's M2 global liquidity, that's the Fed funds rate, basically interest rates, and that's also the Fed balance sheet. Because if we look at number 1, which is M2 global liquidity index in yellow right here, we can see last bull run cycle, the expansion in the market took place after global liquidity started expanding. Because as you can see during this entire bear market, global liquidity was pulling back and then just kind of consolidating sideways, not really doing anything until like April of 2020 when they started printing a lot of money. After COVID, the market started to expand and global liquidity absolutely exploded to the all-time high of November. And it peaked out in April when the market had already topped, after the market had already topped out, and then we went into a bear market. And then look at what happened to global liquidity in yellow right here. It pulled back while the crypto market was pulling back. So the crypto market follows global liquidity. Global liquidity moves first. And as you can see with that pullback, global liquidity hasn't really done anything until recently. It just started to break out. So global liquidity is leading the markets right now, and it's offset by roughly 70 to 100 days. Because you can see on the 23rd of September, global liquidity peaked out when the market was pulling back, and then the crypto market caught up to about 460 billion for others, while global liquidity was pulling back. Now, just recently, global liquidity started to break out when the market's pulling back. So if the crypto market is lagging behind global liquidity by 70 to 100 days, well, then over the next 70 to 100 days, we could see the market bounce up. And if we see global liquidity continue higher, then that could be extremely bullish for the market. So we're just going to watch global liquidity over the next 2 to 3 months, because I think there's going to be a relief rally from this recent rally right here that we just saw since the beginning of January in M2. Now, number 2, we want to look at the Fed funds rate, because right now the Fed funds rate has just been going sideways. The Fed has been keeping rates higher for longer until they see inflation getting closer to their 2% target and they keep unemployment under control. Now, look at what happened last bull run after 2019. When the Fed started dropping rates, we started to see this massive volatility right here. Sure enough, on September 2024, the Fed started dropping rates. What have we seen? We've just seen massive volatility right here. And it wasn't until February to like March of 2020, the Fed had to drop rates in response to the COVID crash. So it's not the Fed drops rates, then that affects the markets. It's the markets does something, and then the Fed has to drop rates, or the Fed sees that what they've done for the past 6 months is having the effect that they like, and then they drop rates. So because they're watching inflation, well, the current inflation right now is the effect of what the Fed was doing with their interest rates 6 to 12 months ago. So we won't see the effect of what's happening right now with the Fed holding rates for longer until the next 6 to 12 months. And arguably, they've been holding rates too high for too long. So expectations for the Fed to drop rates are coming soon this summer. And this is what we would want to see for money to be cheaper, overnight loans for banks to be cheaper, to be bullish for the crypto market. So that's number 2. Number 3 would be the Fed adding to their balance sheet again, because we have seen Bitcoin break its previous all-time high while the Fed has been tightening on their balance sheet, which is extremely rare. It's a very difficult market for crypto, which is a risk-on asset class, to do well while the Fed is tightening on their balance sheet. Because as you guys can see, since 2022, the entire bear market and the entire bull run, they've just been tightening, other than this little blip in the market when they had to bail out Silicon Valley Bank when it collapsed, and the other couple banks that collapsed, they had to buy their bad bonds. Well, they just kept tightening after that. Look at what happened back here. If I zoom in for you guys, the last bull run cycle, well, it wasn't until like September of 2020 that the Fed stopped tightening on their balance sheet and they started expanding again and adding to their balance sheet. And then after COVID, February to March, there was an explosion in their balance sheet. This was the perfect storm of opportunity right here. from February 26th to June 10th, the Fed drastically added to their balance sheet and the markets grew over 230%. And then shortly after that, well, the Fed just kept adding to their balance sheet all the way until April and May, which was pretty much up until the, top of the market right here by like May 10th. And you can see this in yellow right here with the expansion in M2 global liquidity, because when the Fed adds to their balance sheet, they start printing more money. We see quantitative easing take place. That's just where money's easy to print. Loans are cheaper because the Fed funds rate was low. It was virtually nothing at the bottom of the screen that you can see right here in purple. So that's the perfect storm of opportunity. Those three things: M2 global liquidity expanding, Fed funds rate dropping, and the Fed adding to their balance sheet. So like I've said in previous videos, the Fed is not going to tighten forever. And in Jerome Powell's last FOMC speech, they talked about slowing down on tightening, which is actually a good sign, because if they're talking about slowing down on tightening, then over the next few meetings, they're going to talk about expanding their balance sheet. In my opinion, I think they're going to drop interest rates because Trump wants them to. So he's kind of forcing their hand here. And if we see a short-term recovery in the market, then that would tell me that this little pump from January of 2025 to where we are right now in global liquidity, right here, if you guys see me expand the screen right here, if that bleeds into the crypto market, then that is actually a really good sign that the crypto market is offset by roughly 70 to 100 days from global liquidity. So global liquidity moves first, then that starts to flow into the crypto market. So that's why it's more important than ever before to pay very close attention to the markets right now, because you don't make your money when everything's breaking out and you're buying the rallies and you're FOMOing in when everyone's diving in. You make your money when nobody cares by having depth of vision. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.